Yo, what the fuck is good, guys? It's your boy ECKA here, and welcome to this episode of Breakdown. So this episode of Breakdown, we went over Coney Island Party, and this was actually a second half of the previous Breakdown stream that we did on Twitch. We just had some viewers join the stream pretty late, so I decided to do a two-parter and break down Coney Island Party for the rest of the people to check out. So definitely check it out. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, for more breakdowns, music, and other stuff. I will be doing some gaming content on here pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. We've been doing something called Splitgate Sundays, so me and the homies, we hop on, play some Splitgate together, and just have one hell of a time. So other than that, check out my latest tune, Humanity, and also check out my latest tune that just dropped today called Killshot by Petty God and myself, out on American Music. Check it out. Link to the description. Link to that will be in the description below. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and break down Coney Island Party. Welcome to Coney Island Party project file. As you can see, there's quite a decent amount going on here, but we're gonna have some fun breaking this down. So, for those of you who haven't heard, let's go ahead and take a listen to it, shall we?
Are you vaccinated? Yes, sir. It's a fucking hard-ass summer. Get it right.
Hey, yo, brother, fuck your life. I got chicken. Fuck your life. I got glizzy. Fuck your life. Fuck your life. Fuck your life. Fuck, 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 fuck. Fuck your life. Bing bang. Fuck your life.
What's up, mama? I'm coming to Coney Island, niggas still on the site phone. 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 Bing bong.
I got glizzy. Fuck your life.
Take me out to dinner.
Hey, yo.
God damn it. I fucking love this song. I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
The president, man. Who's the president?
If you see these dogs in your front yard, just know upstairs I'm going hard, 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 hard. Just know upstairs I'm going hard, 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 hard. I'm going hard. Bing bong. What do we do?
Oh, fucking goddamn it. Oh man, this fucking song, dude. Possibly one of like my best songs, but yet one of the most stupidest songs I have ever made. And like, I first started making this right when that like, for that TikTok first started blowing up. And it was like, dude, you should totally sample. It'd be hella funny. It'd be fucking gold. I'm like, fuck it. I think I might have an ID that works with it. And turns out this worked perfectly for it. Alright, so let's go ahead and break this shit down piece by piece, right? So, as always, let's start off with the intro. So, we zoom on into this bitch. Alright, so first thing that you heard is this little vital patch, and this was actually a preset patch here. I froze it because it was kind of fucking about my CPU because there were so many other instances of MIDI in here. But this is literally the first thing you hear, and it's just some little sequence, some fucking like sequence patch in here that was already preloaded in here. So I'm literally just doing first and third notes sustained for the entire time, with the second alternative in the middle. And then what I added on, but there we go. I'm having like serious brain fart right now. Okay. So then what I added in here after 4 bars was this little this little synth here loop that I got. And that's exactly how it came through. Like, that's not my CPU, that's not your speakers or anything. That's exactly how the sound is. It already sounded like shit. Thank you, Jesse. But it worked still. So I just tried to clean it up as best as I could just by EQing the fuck out of it. And then what I layered with it is this little like pad here that came from the same pad. Oop. But I did a ghost sidechain with this reverse kick here. That's consistent throughout. So for those of you who don't know, ghost sidechaining is basically taking a channel like this right here, a channel signal, and sending it into a gate, for example, for sidechaining. And but as you see, you don't hear that kick, because normally when you have it unmuted, you would hear it. But since we have it muted, it's acting like a ghost signal. So we get this. Gives it a little more character, and it kind of goes along with the with that main like weird art thing. And then what I have here is I have this little breakbeat sample here. going on with it. And notice how some of it isn't really hitting the beat exactly. That's because that's an actual human. This is an actual recording of an actual human playing to a metronome. But as you can see, it doesn't line up perfectly. And that's what I personally love when I'm making my music, is that human characteristic, that humanistic feel type of thing. You know what I mean? And then what I layered underneath it was this little, where is it? This extra kick right here. From this KJ Sokka drum pack that was already preloaded with Ableton. Some fucking sick shit. If you have Ableton, KJ Sokka's drums are like prime for like live sounding drums if you want to do some breakbeat shit for your sound, or like just live drums for just anything. But what I did is I just used a kick here. So when I layered it with the breakbeat, it just kind of gave it a little more girth. And notice how the velocity kind of changes throughout the beat too. And as you see, what I did basically is I took this clip here and I dragged it into the MIDI clip, and what it did is it basically transposed it back into to a MIDI drum sequence, and I cleaned everything out and just kept the drum pattern. So that's why you hear it so well with the drums here. Layering. That's what we were going over in with the first part of the stream. The better you do with layering and your EQing, the better your shit's gonna sound, like so. And all I did here was just added a drum bus, like I always do. Leave the drive in this side untouched. Turn my damp up all the way as I always do, and then my crunch, normally I nestle it between 5 and 25%. As you see here, we're set at 15% to give it more crunch. And then we just did some simple EQing with Fab Filter, just a little dip at 100 and a little at 4250. Just to kind of balance everything out with the clip. That's really all we were trying to do with this. And then just added a compressor and dropped the threshold to 10, left the knee as it is, and took the output and dropped it down to -5. So that way it's balanced and nicely nestled with the kick from the audio clip. And then what we did here is basically I just kind of cut the clip from the first 4 beats, or these first 2 right here, essentially. Took this, clipped it here, so that way we have excuse me. Just a simple little build up. And then what we have here for the group is this is our build up sounds, effects, like sweeps, down sweeps and all that shit. So what I did here for this part is this here is the pad that we heard in the intro. So that's the intro pad that we heard, right? But I chopped, sliced, and diced it up here. And how I got the pitch to alter was was here. Check this out. Where are you? There we are. So this is the whole clip as you see right here, right? So we start it from the back here. And the transposition res. And we only raised it 6 semitones, so we raised it up half an octave. Nothing too. I tried raising it 12 semitones, but it just sounded really twacky, so I just dumbed it down half. And then what I did here was was this it? Right. So originally that was one part of the loop of the original tune, but I bounced that out and used that as kind of like a weird kind of impact type of startup for the build-up. So what I did with this here is and I went over this in my previous video, in my previous stream. If you missed, if you didn't watch it, you can find it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. If you just type in ECKA on YouTube, you should be able to find it. But I explained it towards that very end segment. So this is my build-up rack that I have here, and all I did really was here, actually, let me see if I can turn the automation back on. Ah, I can. Aha! Haha! I can explain it now. All right. So basically, my build-up is essentially my idea for build-ups for this part here is essentially taking anything I want, any sound I want, or any MIDI note I want, depending on what it is, and making a build-up out of anything. So, yo, what's up, Cat? Thanks for stopping by. What up? Thanks for the raid, homie. So with this technique, you can literally make a build-up out of anything, whether it be a MIDI note from a MIDI sequence of a synth that you're using, or an audio clip like this. Don't worry about the lines. The lines are doing all the work. It looks more intimidating than it is, but it's not. So, yeah. So, these squares down here, build up 1 macro 2 and build up 1 macro 3. This is for turning the 2 devices on. Macro 2 is turning my delay on. Macro 3 is turning on my frequency echo on. Macro 1 is somewhere around here. Oh no, it's up here. So this is macro 1 up here. So these are turning all 3 of these devices on, and these 3 devices here are gonna be what are these 3 devices are gonna make our buildup right here. So with these 3 on, and it's basically a reverb, which kind of makes it kind of sound like you're in a hallway type of thing. You have a delay and an echo. So with all 3 of these combined, you can literally make a buildup out of anything with this type of automation. So after I have these 3 turned on, this right here, macro 4, is the feedback for my frequency echo. So when I have my feedback going from 50 all the way to 100%, it kind of creates a really cool, like, echoey effect that's just like repeating over and over and over again. And then eventually it'll start stacking up on itself once I do this to the automation. So then macro 5 here, this clip here, goes to the wet and dry. So wet and dry is basically when it's dry, that means there's no echo effect on it. And when it's wet, there's a lot of it on there. So I basically take it from a certain point and crank that bitch up. And then macro 6 up here, this part up here, is my shift. And this kind of gives it a weird, warbly, wonky, like wavy type of weird sound to it. So when we have this clip here, oh wait, I should turn it on. There we go. So you see how it kind of naturally started having that rising effect towards the end? Now this is where the fun begins. So now I'm going to turn this back off because I don't need it anymore. Excuse me. This is actually really super good information for me to have since I wanted to do more with my center with some music projects. Awesome. Well, you guys rated at a perfect time. Yeah, no worries, dude. Grub away. Grub away. All good. Yeah, so when you have that, what you want to do is select that whole area that you have the automation and bounce that into audio. And what that means is you're going to render that whole area into a whole clip, and that's what we have down here. So then what we did is we did the same thing that we did with this channel, with this clip here. You see how we have the automation rise here to rise the pitch? We did the same thing right here. Go down here, envelopes, change position. Now we go from 0 to 12. So now we took that kind of rising sound from earlier and now have this. So we layered that with this this nice little frequency downshifter. But what I did is I took it and then reversed it. So when we layered all 4 of these clips together, we have this. And then on top of that, to make everything else blend together and, you know, to have it more fun, that we brought the vocal samples in towards the end. So in the breakdown, this is where you heard the sample here.
I got burgers, fuck your life. I got chicken, fuck your life. I got glizzy, fuck your life, fuck your life, fuck your life, fuck, 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 fuck.
And that's the same type of automation that we did in the clip as we did with these previous 2 clips. And so that right there is the intro into the build-up. So let's take it from this part of the intro into the build-up to hear it all blend in together.
It's a fucking hard-ass summer. Get it right.
I got burgers, fuck your life. I got chicken, fuck your life. I got glizzy, fuck your life, fuck your life, fuck your life, fuck, 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 fuck.
This right here,
Fuck your life.
bing bang. And that right there, what you just heard, that was essentially the fake out that leads into the drop. And so all that is I took the bass group of my some of like just the basic synth that it's going to be repetitive throughout the drop, just to kind of preview it and tease it into like the actual rise into the build to play and warp with that tension. Because as you notice, a lot of bass music is based on the build of energy and tension and playing with it with music and sound. So you hear that pad, that dun 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 dun. Then you slowly hear that weird art fade in, the vocal, drums, and everything else, and then breakdown, build up, build up, build up, build up, take it back, and then take it back. Well, take it back part is right here.
Fuck your life. Bing bang.
And so what I did here is essentially just simple automation with on my fab filter, and my fab filter is pretty much just an EQ, and I essentially just pinched it together and then expanded it over time, so it behaves like so. and then it cuts off because, you know, the vocal sample. But on top of that, there's also some automation of some reverb going on. And that's this clip right here. And then behind it is just a little riser from the Moon Boys Bass Addicts pack. Thank you. And then like you heard before, the vocal, fuck your life, bing bong. Now, we break down the drop. Okay. There we go. Alright. Several things going on here. So, we have a nice little serum patch here. It's called Curse Bass. Just a simple little quarter note pattern here. Nothing extravagant. Yep, so nothing too crazy. It's just by the way, when do you do the DNA show? Tear the fuck up for me, my dude, since it's on my 28th. My DNA Lounge show in San Francisco is on June 17th. Ticket link is in my link tree. Not my link tree, my campsite bio landing page. But yeah, June 17th, opening up for the Dawn Monks. It's gonna be huge, fam. I'm actually really excited. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, so this is the patch here. It's nothing too extravagant. It's just this wavetable, FM from B, and here I have it set to PWM. And LFO1 is sent to all over the place, pretty much. It's sent to the sub, oscillator A level, the sync, my drive, and my mix for my comb plus filter. I believe I also sent it to some of the effects, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, there it is. Send it to my distortion drive, my filter drive, and my filter mix, as well as my EQ gain and frequency for my low here. So that's how you get that little nice pattern. And then it's just a simple warp, womp, like more of a warp pattern. Womp, womp, warp, womp, womp, womp. And then this right here, all this is doing is this is going to my LFO1 rate. So as you see, it shifts every so often right here. So what that's doing is that's based off of this, and this is for every 2 bars. Gives it a nice little pattern, and that's a cool thing that you can do with Serum and a lot of like a sound design VSTs is you can not only create sounds, but you can also create patterns if you do it right. And that's what I did with this right here. Is I wanted to create a pattern so that way I'm not constantly having to place notes all over the place. Instead, I could just shift one sustained note after another if I needed to. But that's this patch here. And then underneath it here we have this Vital patch. Vital sometimes is a bitch, and if I run a lot of Vital like I did here in this track, it sometimes acts a little funny. So I had to freeze this one, but this is the sound that we have layered with it. I call that my angry meow patch, because it's like a meow, but it's very angry. But layered with my Curse Bass patch. It kind of it phases through nicely, which is weird. It's weird how the phasing works so well, but it's weird at the same time. it's fucking weird. And then here, I basically just have this little like kind of wah growl sample yoi thing. So layered with everything else so far. Sounding nice so far. And then this serum patch here is this nice little rhythm glitch patch. It's kind of weird, but I like it. I liked it. It's just a straight saw and a triangle. Oscillator A is F from B, synced F from B. But oscillator B is synced synced at a half window, so it kind of gives it a nice little blend of both of the wavetables. But the LFO is also sent over to both syncs, the level of oscillator A, the cutoff and frequency of my high note filter, as well as several of the effects patches. I just like distortion drive, my depth and feed of my flanger, and my EQ, as well as the filter cutoff. And as you see, the pattern on it looks crazy as hell, but it sounds awesome. But as you see, it's only just short yo beep for every one, so it's not a consistent pattern. So when we have it layered with everything so far, beep, bop, boom. And now we bring this sumbitch in. This is a weird vital patch here. Come on, load up. There we go. So this is a patch that's that I got from I believe it was Black Lotus Audio, called Insanity. And this is a really cool patch to play with. I had a lot of fun fucking with this patch. So this patch is mainly just you hear it a lot. It's actually not only the little barking sound that you kind of hear, but it's also the sustain that you hear later on. And notice how we had a sound that sounded like a cat, and now we have a sound that sounded like a dog. What do you hear? What's out in the streets of Coney Island a lot of stray cats and dogs, as well as in New York. So I mean, hey, you see how, as I stated before, there's a theme that I put in every song. Boom. Coney Island, stray dogs and cats everywhere. You know how the streets, you know how it is out there in fucking Coney Island. It's fucking rough out there, bro. Just kidding. I don't fucking know. I'm just talking shit at this point. But yeah. So this is the patch here, and it's just a rounded square with a sign and this weird fucking squishy shit. And LFO 3, it's LFO 3 and LFO 1 that do a lot of the work, especially LFO 1. LFO 1, I have it really set to my filter effects as well as my oscillation distortion amount and filter effects cutoff. But it's really just my comb blend and my resonance right here. You see how this is kind of shifting? That's the main thing you hear right there. So as you see, this is kind of following the same pattern as everything else. Excuse me. what we do here is I basically put a small little build up before the switch up, and I never do this, but I never do this in any of my songs. So this is like kind of like at this time this was kind of like a first for me, but but I felt like this was appropriate, and so nothing too crazy. It's just blah, 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 blah. The KJ socket drum rack from Ableton, just a simple little snare roll. Then I also have the breakbeat kicks here again with the breakbeat sample again. This nice little riser for the build up, and the synth loop, and then sampled again. But what we did is we did the same thing. We automated the transposition in the clip, so that way there's a nice little riser behind it. So this is what that. And then here soon, it's gonna rise. And then so with everything else, oh yeah, then somewhere, yep, there's our sub drop with our original frequency downshifter layers. So oop.
Hey, yo, Ariana Grande, what's up, mama? I'm coming to Coney Island, niggas still on the cyclone.
Now, the switch up. So, we took the curse bass out from the MIDI, and we actually rendered it into audio, so that way we can play within a chop with it more, and not really use so much CPU, because there's more layers coming in here. So, as you see, we have the bark that we had here. This sound, this little bark sound. But we have it up at a higher register, so we went from the second register of F to the third register of F up here to kind of give it a nice little higher tone, because what we did here is we made the original one the sustain. So these two are the same patches, same vital patch. This one is just the sustain that we have for the first drop. But when we layer it with this clip here, and then heave-a-debba. So we keep the same vital patch. We have the curse bass clip down here. But as you see, it's more of the rhythm for me. So it's so we went from kind of like a fun, flowy, bouncy type of vibe, and now we're following more of a rhythm formula. And that's basically what the song is. It's more of like a mid-heavy, kind of angry, bouncier form of rhythm, but with more of a dubstep influence behind it. So when we have this layered with everything else, but notice how you hear in the background there's a little bounce between and here. That was intentionally done. because I like to throw little weird like pieces of ear candy in the song, so that way the listener goes, "Oh wait, that's interesting." Because notice when you go from the first switch up from here, and then when we go here, listen very closely. So here it is by itself. Fun, isn't it? So when you sing that part specifically with the rest of the drop, right? You'll sing along with it like this. Interesting. Like, it's nice little tonal dissonance in a sense. So that's pretty much the sound design for the drop. Now let's go into the sub. So what I always do with my songs, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time for this breakdown, let me actually put some ambient lighting on since it's starting to get dark in here. Much better. All right, much better, fam. So, for those of you who don't know, and those of you who meaning mostly those of you who are just tuning in for the first time for this breakdown, this is how I sidechain my sub to my synths to give it that same pattern. So normally what I do is I'll have different channels and instances of MIDI for my sub, so that way I can sidechain everything accordingly and it behaves properly and damn near similarly depending on the flow. So for the first flow, we just have a sustained note, but as you see, I sidechain it to the whole group, which is the bass group here, 10. So the whole bass is sidechained to the whole group of synths that make the drop. And since all of it is pretty much the same note, it makes it easier. So when we solo it, we'll hear the bass flow as so. Oh wait. Stupid. Why am I not getting anything? Oh wait, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Fuck your life!
Oop, Jesus. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. So notice here on the side chain, notice how it kind of held for a little bit. So what I do when I sidechain, I turn my hold up as much as needed here on my gate. And I use gate for sidechain because honestly, in my opinion, it just gives it more of a better flow and kind of punches more through the mix that way. So I normally use gate for all forms of sidechaining, whether sidechaining drums, synths, subs, all that shit. And this, what you see here, this is actually my my signature bass rack that I have here. For those of you who mess with Ableton, if you hop into the Mermix server Discord, we actually have a lot of tools that are available for Ableton FL Studio. But in the server, I actually uploaded the this sub bass rack here for everybody to try out for Ableton. So if you have it and want to join the Discord server, just go to discord.gg/mermicmusic, all one word. Drop the link here for you actually. Hold on 1 sec. Boom. There you go. So those of you who haven't joined, feel free to join in there and check it out. Got lots of cool stuff, lots of cool people in there. Very active server. Check it out. Whether you're decent level producing or just starting or wanting to learn, or if you just want to hang out in a cool Discord server, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, so that's how I normally sidechain my basses. I normally use gate with this rack, and then I add a compressor at the end just to kind of make sure it's nice and toned down in the mix, so that way I can make it punch more with how I EQ it. So yeah, and then for the switch up, what I did is excuse me. For the switch up, what I did here is I basically took the same idea, the same concept of ghost compression that we use here in the intro, and did ghost sidechaining with gate here with this kick sample. It's the same kick sample that I used before, but this is more so for the single the kick hitting on the one, just so the kick can kind of punch through more, and make the sustain hit more on the drop. Boom pap, boom pap, boom pap, boom pap, and then the same thing here. Boom pap, boom pap, boom pap. And so that's pretty much the drop with the sidechain and the bass. So when you have it all together, here, let me put the sub solo as well. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, fam. Here we go. And then the same thing back here as well. And that's pretty much sidechaining for you right there. And that's how I do on my sidechaining for, like I said, my sidechaining for my synths and my basses. And then now we go into the drums. My drums are pretty standard. I kind of use the same sounds, the same drums for most of my songs. Sometimes I'll just shift the key, the tone and pitch of it just to make sure it's still in tune. But most of the time, I find that my drums actually play very well on the note that they already are, because it's kind of a neutral note for most key signatures anyways. The only time I need to shift it is if I'm doing some odd key signatures. But for this song is an F minor, so this one was pretty standard. So I left each tone, each kick, drum hit at its regular tone, neutral tone of C. Just because I feel like it still plays very well in the mix. Hang on 1 sec. Let me take the earrings out. Ears are starting to hurt with this headphones on. It's so much better. So much better. Sorry about that, man. So I know, like I always do, I always have two layers of kicks. One layer is on the 1 and 3, so that way it hits the kick on the 1 and the snare slash clap layers on the 3. So these are the drums that we hear as so. Whoop. Oh wait. Huh. Sorry. I'm really stoned. So notice how the first kick kind of thumps a lot. So that's so here's how we break that down right here. Check this out. So on the first kick, we have a drum bus, but we have the damp set up all the way, and that's already kind of dampened this up enough as it is here. So this out. And then on this kick here, I really don't have anything on because it's already kind of hitting nicely with this layer in. So I EQ'd this drum, the first kick here first, just by following it as such here. I felt like for this song, it kind of needed more of a sloppy EQ approach and processing and post-processing approach to it, just because everything else is kind of already distorted, grungy, and kind of heavy. So I felt like the drums kind of needed to follow suit to blend it properly more into the mix. So with these two, we also have the standard snare and clap sound that I always use. And notice there's a lot of reverb on it. That's so that way it can carry through into the stereo field nicely. Because you want all your drums to be centered, but I also like to kind of have them be pushed out into the stereo field a little more. So this right here was my attempt at that. And like I said, ooh, sushi, fuck yeah, sushi sounds bomb. I'm down for some sushi. Yeah, so with how kind of grungy and kind of filthy this drop is, oops, didn't mean to click that. I wanted the drums to kind of follow suit and kind of have kind of quote unquote trashy, shitty drums, so to speak. Hence why the drums were kind of EQ'd and kind of play like that. So with that, I also have this kind of this top loop for Screamsaver from the Subtronics pack. I liked how the hi-hat sat and sounded on this, so I decided to use this loop. And this is what I was talking about, by the way, earlier for hi-hat grooves. This is a perfect example of a hi-hat groove right here. That's a very simple hi-hat groove, but that gives it a lot more character when the drums all together, like such. Like how simple the drums the drums can be super simple like that, just boom, pat. But if you have a killer hi-hat groove as such, dude, it just, man, I just can't tell you how important that is. So after all that, we have this side chained to channel group 9, which is what I did since a lot of the synths weren't. It's 420, man. I got you. Since a lot of these synths weren't really appropriate to a lot of the how most rhythm sounds are, with that nice little wow type of sound. These are kind of like wap 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 wap. I kind of needed to actually sidechain this a little bit differently. So what I did is I sidechained a whole group, which is the whole sub and synth group. So this whole group, when I collapse it, all this right here is the drop synths and the sub. So the drums is so the drum channel, or the drum groups, is all right. I got 2 for you guys. I'll take 2 rips for you guys right here after I explain this. So all of these right here, I got you guys. So all this right here is the bass synths, like for the sound design, and the subs, and all this group is sidechained to the drums here. So that's why the drums kind of come in through kind of nicely, is because of the way that all this was sidechained. So yeah, that's the drop. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to the drop and kind of go into the breakdown, into the next build up, while I take 2 rips for the people. Excuse me. Oof. Close all this stuff up. Alright. So, we're going to take it from the fake out of the first drop, through the first drop with everything back on, and into the bridge section, breakdown section. 3, 2, 1.
Fuck your life!
Bing bong.
Fuck your life!
What's up, mama? I'm coming to Coney Island, take a spin on the cyclone. Bing bong.
I got Gleazy. Fuck your life.
Take me out to dinner.
Hey, yo.
The president, man. Who's the president? If you see these dogs in your front yard, just know upstairs I'm going hard. Just know upstairs I'm going hard.
Ha! Alright, sorry. Thank God I was muted, because I'm fucking dying over here. But as you saw, Devlin and Kat redeemed 2 of those for you. I got you. Now I'm pretty fucking toasty. This is going to get interesting, because this is where the more crazier shit happens. Alright, so what I did here was, excuse me. I re-rendered the audio for the curse bass, and which is the original patch that we had for the first drop, and then the audio that I had for the second half. So I re-rendered it and have this kind of different flow pattern for it. And the difference between that and the original is this one kind of had more of a sustained flow to it with the quarter note wobs. So when I mean by more sustained, that means that it plays out longer when the note hits. So it's web. So instead of web, it's web. It's longer. The noise is louder and longer, essentially. And then I kind of had this little growl, this little rhythm glitch growl. Same growl from the previous song. Oops. So now, what we have underneath all this is we have this yoink patch that I made here. I didn't have to EQ any of this, believe it or not, because this patch was actually sitting pretty nicely once I brought it in. But all it is this little monster. Oscillator A is on monster, and there's only one LFO, and the third one is really only not doing so much. It's only on the master tuning. Not doing much though. But this is the main thing right here. So LFO 1 is sent to the noise level, oscillator A level, and oscillator A is on the monster wave table, monster 9. Blend is shifted over to 75%, 75. FM from B, wave table position at 199. Wave table's position from oscillator B at 3. With mirror warp, and the modulator is assigned to LFO1 modulation on it. Plus 2 octaves, plus 12 semitones on basic shapes, and yeah, the rest of it gets into the filter cutoff and filter frequency. There's a little bit of that play on there as well. HN12 filter for the serum guys out there that are watching and will be watching on YouTube. Pretty simple stuff. But this is the sound that we're working with. Oh wait, no, it's muted. I don't even have to worry about that. I just explained it for no reason. But yeah, feel free to take that part that I just explained, guys, and feel free to create that on your own. And this will be both parts will be posted on YouTube, by the way. Just to let you guys know. Yeah. So we took this little Sotronics-like swamp that I made here, on the quarter note womps here, and then made it kind of follow the rest of the pattern. And I kind of sent that to the right, so that way there's more stereo play with it, so that way not everything is just kind of jam-packed in the middle. What you want to do with a lot of these sounds is you want to kind of branch them out and make them wider in your stereo field. You even want to take some, excuse me, got really bad cotton mouth, but you even want to take some and pan some to the left and to the right, so that way there's plenty of room for your drums in the middle as well as your sub. Your drums, and your vocals are the only three things that you really want to be mainly in the middle the entire time. That's just how it's done. That's how it's always been done. That's just the main guideline. But yeah, so with this, not really much going on. It was already nicely EQ'd when I rendered it out. So I just brought the sample and just chopped it up the way I wanted it to. Because all it was originally was just as you see down here, this whole clip here. That's what it originally was, and I just kind of chopped it up as I wanted it to. Yes, we have that layered with this. Then we also have this serum patch up here. Forgot about this one. This is kind of like this is a patch from the Bass Addicts dubstep pack from Minboy. Big ups again, Minboy. Appreciate you. This is a pretty cool patch. The Bass Addicts pack is also free, by the way. So if you go to his website, you can get it for free. It's a really cool patch. It's a nice little yeah yoy sound. But what I did was just kind of make a little pattern that kind of flowed with it. So what you hear right here is. So when you have that layered with everything else. And now we go into a more rhythm flow. So we had kind of like a little dubsteppy, rhythmy type of flow just now. So what we did here differently is on top of that, we also have, I rendered out the yoi clip here, but I put the yut part on the off time hits here. So when you hear this all together, and notice how you're still able to hear everything, every sound that we just went over. Notice how you were able to hear everything cleanly when it was all put together. Listen to it again, but very closely. That is exactly what you want. And I'm not saying it like I know how to properly mix down. I'm really or like I'm a guru at this or anything. I'm just saying how I made it work so that way everything sounds cleanly. And really, when you look at everything, I mean, granted, this clip was originally this up here, and this was just simple saturation with Kilohertz Saturator. Foul Filter Pro Q3, just EQing the fuck out of this thing. And then Stereo Tool to make it nice and wide. So when we heard it originally back here, you see how, so mono is when it's sitting right there in the middle. So that's where you want to have your vocals, your drums, your hi-hats, your sub bass, but everything else you kind of wanted to play around here. But notice how it's kind of more so directly left and right. So notice how that, so this right here, like I said, is a stereo field. Mono sits perfectly in the middle, but notice how the sound is perfectly on both sides, damn near. It's beautiful fucking shit. And here, this is the cool part. So now, we're gonna go back. I should have done this in the first part, but we're going to go back to this part here. We're going to go back to all this right here. Right. So you see how the brighter part kind of plays around here instead of just straight up and down in the middle. that is the exact stereo image that you want when you're layering multiple mid-heavy and low-heavy frequency distorted synths. This is why sudden death music works so well. This is why Subtronics music works so well. This is why Squantos work so well. This is why a lot of the big names of music work so well. It's because they EQ and layer everything perfectly within the stereo field, so that way you get a nice stereo image like that. It's beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful. So that's the first half. Now the build up. So we go into a breakdown build up, and it's pretty much exactly the same as the first drop. There's just no vocals. That's the only difference. Creatively, not really a creative decision. I just didn't really find the right vocal to kind of fit the build down into the build up. So I just went without it. So it's just instrumental and noise. So then we go into the switch up with the sustain. So we have our vital layer sustain right here, but I switched things up a little bit. Come on, load it up. So this is another one that I did. Essentially, I remapped some of the LFOs and reshaped them. And we also used a lower pitch as well. And did some automation on Macro 4. Oops, I should have shown what Macro 4 does. And Macro 4 is the LFO rate. And the LFO rate kind of is automated throughout here and there. So yeah, that's the sustain that we have underneath here, and the sub is the same type of sidechain that we had in the sustain in the second half of the drop. But the sub, obviously, you know, is following the same notes as such. And really, it's just, that's it, really. Nothing else. Just a sustain and the warbs and the growls. But the only difference really is just that it's just a little more melodic for the switch up. So here's how the switch up sounds by itself. And then with the sub with it as well. This is what it sounds like. So yeah, that's pretty much it right there, guys. And then right after that, it just kind of cuts off right here with his riser and then the vocals.
In the Coney Island parties, what do we do?
And that's just delay automation, and then that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, that's a fucking Coney Island Party from my EP. Who the fuck is ECKA? And I don't even know who the fuck ECKA is. So dude was like, "Yo, dude, it's ECKA. Who the fuck's that? Who the fuck is ECKA? Who's that guy?" But there you go, guys. That's the whole breakdown, schmakedown, the whole gist of it all. Jesus Christ, there's just so much. Oh my god, there's just so much. There's just so much. Oh my god. Okay, there you go. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for oh, hold on. I had to resave it. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Let me go ahead and just shield. There we go. I love doing that. That shit's always fun. Thank you for everybody for tuning in, though. I really greatly appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out and enjoying the madness, and really taking the time to sit here and let me ramble about my music and how I make everything and my crazy process and all that bullshit. But if you haven't already, be sure to pre-save Kill Shot by Petty God and myself. It's coming out May 18th, so go ahead and follow the link in my bio on Instagram or Twitter, or go on Facebook if you find me on Facebook. But hit the pre-save link, pre-save it on Apple, Spotify, all that. It will be available on all platforms May 18th. And speaking of which, on May 18th, we will also be having episode 3 of the Mermic Sound podcast, and we will also be hosting another special guest, and we unveil who yet until the week of. So be on the lookout for that on the Mermic socials. But on that note, guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, go check out both of these songs. Go check out Coney Island Party on my latest EP that I dropped earlier this year called Who the Fuck is ECKA, available on all platforms as well. And also definitely go check out my latest song that I just dropped earlier this week on Monday, Humanity. Go check that out. We just did the breakdown of it earlier in the stream, so if you missed it, don't worry. I'm going to be uploading a 2-part weekly episode at this point. Sometime tomorrow or Friday, hopefully tomorrow if I can get it all done tonight. And more than likely I'll get it all done tonight. But definitely check out check my YouTube page tomorrow for the breakdown of Humanity, and then check next week for the upload of Coney Island Party. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Much love. As I always say, keep it vibing, keep it flowing, keep it blessed, keep it positive. Smoke as much water and drink as much weed as humanly possible. On that note, I'm out, guys. Peace.